Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Drawing Down the Stars. I'm Snappy, and thank you so much for joining me today on June 18th for our live tarot session. So, please, if you could just take a minute and hit the like button, it does make a difference. It does boost the algorithm, and it's good karma. So, please send me some good karma and a nice little blessing. So, let's give a shout out to the chat. Shout out to Casker, always great to see you. Steve McQueen, good to see you. Nikos Moss, Higgs Wallop, Valerie, Gandhi, Kari. Wonderful. Great to see you all. This is going to be a beautiful day today. So, first, we're going to get into our astrology as we usually do. And our astrology is very similar to how it was yesterday. We have Gemini Sun still. That's kind of this dominant focus, right? This kind of trying to explore the world in a fun and playful way, trying to see things through its various perspectives, right? And we have our moon in Scorpio, which is really interesting energy because it's this kind of taking a risk, following your dreams, diving in, really being in that energy of just going for it, but from this intuitive kind of place, this dream place. And we have all this kind of Cancer energy in Mercury and in Venus, which is really beautiful to see, right? Because it's this emotional focus that's driving our communication and our relationships, right? So we're really going to connect in this deep emotional way to people around us. And we really need to be open and communicative about our emotions and really express our emotions and listen to the emotions of others and try to be in that state of emotional intelligence, which is a very hard skill for many to master, but it is something that we can all learn and just take that time to listen and be in other people's presence. So beautiful, beautiful energy for today. We also have that Taurus and Mars, which I love to see because that's that steady movement, right? This is Taurus is that very stubborn energy, that bullheaded energy, right? But it's also that hardworking energy that gets stuff done. In Mars, this is you are methodical, you are moving, you are doing stuff, and you are doing it in a very determined and practical way. You're moving forward in this transformation, and that's beautiful energy to see, right? We have Jupiter with our Gemini, Jupiter and the Sun in Gemini. So it's this really, really big, strong push for this kind of embrace of these perspectives and just experiencing things in this multiplicity. And of course, we still have that Saturn and Pisces energy. So we really need to be aware of our depths, focusing on these kind of deep intuitive emotions and really, being in that state of inner knowledge and inner expression from that emotional level where we're really going deep in and thinking about how we feel about things, because oftentimes we can profess two different types of emotions. People get really good at masking and they can project loving energy, but deep down inside it's not what's there, right? And only they know what's there. And this is about being aware of that and to try and meld these two energies more, right? To be in this proper flow where you're expressing how you feel. There always has to be some restraint, of course, to a certain degree, and you got to be practical about how you express yourself. But there's also this, you don't want to be hiding. You want to be understanding where your emotions are coming from and what you're actually feeling, right? So yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Love to see it. So that's sort of the astrology for today. When I was meditating and I was thinking about today, the feeling is still this idea of looking to the other, right? We're still kind of in this profound experiential Gemini energy where we're really embracing the material and we're trying to explore and understand it. So but more than that, this is about that loving energy. This is about learning to love those around you, learning to see yourself reflected in the others, right? See yourself. If you have a lover, see yourself in your lover, right? If you have a child, see yourself in your child. This is a really deep, profound thing. And if you don't have these things, you can see it in the mirror itself. You can gaze in yourself, and you can, through yourself, find who you truly are, knowing your true self. You know, there's always two. There's always multiplicities. Even in the self, there's multiplicities. And we need to explore the depths of ourself, right? We need to explore those others, those parts of ourselves that we hide, those parts of ourselves that we don't share or express, or that, we haven't fully engaged with, because we also have to acknowledge that as human beings, we exist throughout a time cycle, and we are shifting and growing and changing with the flow of time. If you were to see yourself from the next dimension, right, you would appear like a snake, not a single entity in a moment, but as something moving through time, as an experience, because you are the sum total of experience, and that's what brought you here. So we need to be aware of these things and aware that this is going to continue. So we have to see these transformations and these flows, and we can recognize who we were and who we're becoming and who we wish to be. And we have to be able to move through these in that kind of flow, right? And seeing ourselves just in this way, and truly seeing the multiplicity of things, and embracing that idea that the perception of the other is both real and false. It's like it's a beautiful thing to engage with. And also, just the pursuit of the other is that gazing into the abyss and being transformed. To experience something different, it's to be transformed by it. To embrace love and to adore someone else is to sacrifice for them, is to be transformed by them, And if it's a true loving relationship, your partner will do the same for you, right? It becomes this shared, loving, transformative embrace, that Shiva Parvati that everyone longs for. Yeah, it's beautiful to think on. So another interesting thing that was happening to me today, I was looking at my books and I was thinking, I always want to think about, new books that I can share with you all. And I was doing some cleaning and a book wound up falling on my head. Right? This is Gurdjieff, G.I. Gurdjieff, and it is Beelzebub's Tales to His Grandson. So G.I. Gurdjieff is kind of a controversial figure. He is a mystic from Russia. I think he was born around 1870 or so, I believe. He wrote this book in the 1920s, I believe. It's a wild, wild book. Gurdjieff was all about this concept of the fourth way and the work, transformation and growth, and trying to see reality. He believed that all of the world was an illusion, a lie, a myth, a dream, that we needed to wake up. And he created this as an alternative mythology, a mythology of the present. And he claimed that within his trilogy, All and Everything, he answered every question in all of human experience. He designed this as sort of an aesthetic piece that you were meant to go back to again and again and again, right? He says you can't even understand it unless you read it 3 times. And he makes up a lot of nonsense, and it's wild. He has Beelzebub, who is a well-known demon, but he appears as an extraterrestrial who's going on a journey with his son Hussein. It's wild stuff, but there's a lot of beautiful stuff here too. It's dense and weird, and I love it. It's interesting. Gurdjieff, though, was kind of a crazy man, notoriously hard on his students. His most famous student is P.D. Uspensky, who's arguably, I suggest that people should read him, because he kind of makes a lot more sense of Gurdjieff and was far more of a philosophical thinker. Gurdjieff was a dance instructor and a musician and kind of an ass. He used to just yell at all of his students and tell everyone that they weren't good enough. And he was a notorious liar and would lie to everyone constantly about everything. A real guru. But we can take from these people the good and the bad, and we can have fun and we can explore. And, the muse sends you to these places for a reason. So I want to know, why did this book hit me in my head? Why today? So muse, we're going to do the bibliomancy, the sortes, right? Which is a form of Greco-Roman magic where we invoke the muses and we ask them to bring us inspiration and to guide our hand and to send us a message. So, muses, guide my hand. What is the message for today? What do we need to take to go and flow? And what is the inspiration? You know, how do we best move forward? Nevertheless, it did enter so deep that it was impossible to obtain it by ordinary methods. Nevertheless, it did enter so deep that it was impossible to obtain it by ordinary methods. My immediate thought on this is just this idea of gazing into the abyss, right? Really looking into that blackness and meditating and gazing, right? You have to descend into that depth and really pursue it to the bottom. And it's almost a never ending approach. But the more you go down, the more deep you find, right? It's the same thing as you see in the parallel of the myth of Parvati and Shiva with the mirror. You know, the more you gaze at that beautiful other, the more you turn to her, the more depth you uncover, the more layers, infinite complexity, infinite beauty. You know, and it is the same thing with the depths of the abyss. You can go into these deep meditative states. You can reflect on the deep, the darkness. You can go to those internal places, you know, and you'll never, ever reach the bottom. It's a beautiful thing, you know. A lot of people are afraid of these things, but transformation is the key. And to experience that which is other is to be transformed. You know, you have to face the fears and take the leap. Embrace the panic. All right. We're going to go back to this book from yesterday, which is such a fun one. In Tune with the Infinite by Ralph Waldo Trine, Christian magician, New Thought proponent, but interestingly not a money huckster, kind of one of these interesting pantheistic monistic guys. But what's really interesting about this particular copy, and I talked about this the other day, is that it was owned by a man named Harry F. Gibbon. And Harry was kind enough to leave us so many of his thoughts. You know, one day I'm going to do a live stream where I go through some of this because there's just some incredible stuff. Man must know the will of God, or the work of creation can never express the purpose of the Creator. He loves to wax poetic. It's beautiful. I love finding these kinds of books where you get to see someone's soul poured out into the page, you know, with a book they clearly loved. So it makes it magical. All right, so let's ask the muses. Guide my hand, muse. What is the message? What do we need to know? How do we best move forward in flow? Send us that inspiration. Okay. Let us cry. All good things are ours, nor soul helps flesh more now than flesh helps soul. Let us cry. All good things are ours, nor soul helps flesh more now than flesh helps soul. That is so profound and beautiful. That is exactly what we've been talking about. The flesh and the soul, that's the matter in the immatter, right? That's time and timelessness, Shiva and Parvati. Right? Let us cry, all good things are ours. We embrace life. We embrace creation. Nor soul helps flesh more now than flesh helps soul. These two entwined, forever entwined in that unfolding beauty of creation. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Ralph Waldo Trine and Harry F. Gibbon. What a beautiful passage. Love to see it. Love to see it. All right, let us continue. We're going to go to Euripides, right? Euripides, a favorite, classic playwright. Here we have 10 of his greatest plays, right? Medea, Ion, Electra, the Bacchae, Iphigenia, and more. Beautiful stuff here. So, muses, guide my hand. What is the message? What is the inspiration? How do we best move forward and flow? Show us. What do we need? Do you recall embroidering the scene on a fine web? Do you recall embroidering the scene on a fine web? This is a beautiful thing. This is about remembering the act of creation, right? The process of embroidering something through a fine web to create an image, a scene, a conception of the mind, right? Art, beauty, the production, the creation of something beautiful. This is about reflecting upon those acts. Go to those moments when you truly made something with your hands, when you poured yourself into something and created something that was truly fine, that you felt proud of. This is a beautiful thing. This is true inspiration from the muse. People are always asking me, how do you call the muse? How do you get in touch with the muse? It's create, be in that process, invoke random, do something, be creative, generate. That is the muse. You want her, you have to give to her, and then she will give to you. It's that loving exchange, that adoration. You must be called to create. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Reflect upon your works. Remember what guided you, and try to invoke that same feeling again in your present. Love it. All right. We're going to go to Chapman's Homer, the Iliad and Odyssey. All right. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message that we need to take forward and flow? Inspire us. Homer is the GOAT. Give us something good. Ooh. He answered, men who pride did so inspire, but are not fit consorts for a humble guest. Men who pride did so inspire are not fit consorts for a humble guest. That's another thing to remember, right? Just because someone has that inspiration of the muse, right? Maybe they're not meant for the path that you're on. We got to stay humble, right? Pride is not a good thing. And if you are prideful in your inspiration, you will corrupt your inspiration. You know, it'll turn sour. Pride goeth before the fall, so they say, right? We must be that humble guest, for we are but a guest upon the earth. We exist for but a moment, right? And we must ever live in flow and respect with all that exists. You know, men who pride themselves are not fit consorts for us, even if they are so inspired. Ooh. Think about this. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Homer. That was great. All right. We're going to go to Parvati Darpana. This book has been a central theme for the last few days. This was written by my teacher, Dr. Harsha V. Dehasia. Probably the most accomplished person I've ever met in my life. A medical doctor, a philosopher, a father, an author. And this book is one of the most important books in my life. So, love it. All right. Muse, guide my hand. What is the inspiration? How do we best move forward and flow? Oh, wow. For the Vedic Indian, Vak was the vehicle of artistic expression. Wow. Vak is the voice, the divine voice of that produces the Vedas. Okay. The Vedas are that which are heard, right? The rishis hear. The Vak was the vehicle of artistic expression. As the rishis themselves admitted, only a quarter of it was understandable. Wow. So the poetic inspiration, the song that they were hearing and they were transforming into the Vedas, was a vehicle for expression, right? This was not a literal text. This was something that became literal as it descended into the mind of poets. Wow. That's beautiful. All right. So I think we just need to take from that is this idea that even that it's not about remembering things exactly. It's not about that. It's about taking inspiration from the dream. It's about listening to the voice. We've all had, I'm sure, these kind of dreams where you hear something. Listen to those voices, listen to those sounds, right? Take inspiration from them. Wow, beautiful. All right. Yeah, Vok does sound kind of like Bacchus, eh? To me, the Vok always reminded me of the Logos, you know? Very similar, but it has this vibrational capacity. It's connected to this power of the song. Reminds me also of the song in the Orphic tradition. So now we're going to move on to our main tarot reading. We're going to use the Thoth Tarot deck of Lady Frida Harris and Crowley, my favorite deck. And we're going to do the Saturn Square. This is a spread that invokes that power of Saturn to divide our life upon the plate, to mix everything up and to show us what we need to do to best move in flow, to display the conflicts, to help us evolve, to grow and transform. All right, muses, guide our hand. What do we need to know? Send us the inspiration. The first card in the center is always the most important card. Wow. Today is the star. Wish fulfillment. Venus. Drawing down the star. Wow, do I ever love to see that. Profound goddess energy, Aquarius energy, right? Beautiful. Connecting to that powerful energy, that divine feminine. This is about getting what you wish for, you know, imagining what you want, really connecting to that feminine. And this is such powerful energy to have with this moon in Scorpio, right? And to have with all what we've been saying so far. Just beautiful. Okay, let us continue. We had so much of this energy yesterday, and we're seeing it again. That Four of Swords, that truce, being in this state of mental balance and control, like Gautama Buddha, right? Aware of our emotions. We don't get angry. We see it coming and we let it go. You know, we move and flow. We take it as it is. We rise above. This is like such incredible energy to be able to manifest. It's something that is beyond difficult. But it is beautiful when you can do it. Connected to this Queen of Cups energy. What I'm seeing here, right? This is that thing. You want to draw your dreams. You want to create that. You want to have that manifestation here, right? This wish fulfillment. You have to be in this energy of that loving mother who gives, right? And is the shoulder to cry on, who is that supportive force of care and love, right? Who nurtures when the child falls and stubs their toe, who's there to hear and listen when they're crying and when they're scared, without judgment and just in that calm, loving embrace, with flow and with guidance, ever supportive. That's beautiful energy, right? And connected to it is this deep energy of that mindfulness, right? Being in this state of balance. This is what brings us our wish, right? What do we desire? What do we want to manifest? What are we trying to connect? What are we trying to do? It's deeply connected to this feminine, and it's about this being in this state of this queen, the one who can support, who can give, whose cup runneth over, right? Let us continue. Also connected to this wish fulfillment energy, we have this young man energy, right? Who's trying transformative things. Beautiful. They're also connected to this wish. Maybe they share in the dream. Maybe this is an energy of community. I'm getting the sense of this young man energy coming in, right? Lots of ideas, lots of profound, transformative ideas. Wants to tear things down, build something new, right? This is energy that could go many different ways. There's so much potential here. It can be beautiful or it could be awful, right? The young man needs to be nurtured. That is what the queen does. And they're at a crossroad with that wish fulfillment, right? The key to this energy of the wish fulfillment is being able to be there in that loving flow for this. The guy who comes in with that bull energy, right? Who thinks they already know the answers. This is hard energy to handle, right? A bull in a china shop energy. But this is the kind of energy that is looking for help, that needs that guidance, that needs that motherly support, right? And this is why it's requiring such mental balance, because who wants to deal with this? I'm sorry. Let's continue. Where's this energy going? Wow. Yeah, and this is difficult for this young man too, you know. This young man is in this hangman state. They're in that active change. It's amazing and beautiful to see them in that disc energy because they are doing it. They want to do it. They are invested. They see that a change needs to be done, even if they don't understand it. And they're going through the processes, but they need a little bit of help, right? They're showing up immature. And this is difficult work, right? But if that prince energy can overcome this, can go through this sacrifice, can shed what needs to be shed, they're going to show up as a knight. So let's see where that energy. Did I not just call this? Did I not just call this? Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So yeah, through that sacrifice and through this transformation, this young man will be reborn. Reborn, that fiery, passionate knight who's out to change the world, but is now showing up mature and with the fire to do so. Very different energy than that prince. Very different energy than that prince. So there's so much potential here. And it's connected to this wish fulfillment. And it's connected to this queen, right? These are interesting energies. Let's see where this is flowing. Okay. So now we're going to do our bottom row. Yeah. Disappointment energy. Connected to that wish fulfillment and also to that young prince, the bottom of our square. Very interesting energy to see here, right? Because this is that energy of just exhausted and emotionally drained, right? Your cups are running out. You're losing patience, right? You see that dream, you see that beauty, you want it so bad, you want to help this young person, but this person is exhausting. Right? This is that energy of, you know, wishing people would show up with more to give, but they're taking, you know, and now there isn't enough water to go around. So let's see where this is going. Let's see where this is going. It doesn't have to be all negative, but that is a time suck kind of energy that's hard to handle. How do we handle it? We handle it as a community. That's how we handle it. So what I'm seeing here is that there is this deep connection. There is this love. There is this pleasure. There are these relationships that feed into one each other and support one each other, that support each other. You know, there is this incredible flow here in spite of this disappointment, you know. We're getting, right, 6 and 5. Now we have 11 in the cups on the bottom row. 1 and 1. It's like there's two groups. You know, you got an inside crew and an outside crew. Let's continue. Yeah, and there's a coming new aeon. There's a transformation and a change here. So this is about this crew has got to work with this crew if we want to bring this, right? That new coming age, that transformation. Dionysus reborn, Harpocrates, right? You see his ghost there under the shroud of Nuit, the reflection of Osiris, right? That reborn energy, right? If you want that, if we want to be able to reset the cycles, to change, to be reborn as something greater, to work together, to truly build that museum, to transform things, we've got to get these people who are in this disappointment, who aren't sharing, who aren't in flow. We got to get them flowing. We got to get them flowing. And it's beautiful that this pleasure energy is so balanced and has love to give, right? Okay, now I'm going to tilt my camera so you guys can see the full square, and then we're going to talk about the various connections. All right, so at this time, I'd also like you all, if you could, just to please give me a like and a subscribe. The likes really do make a difference. They boost it in the algorithm more than you would suspect. And it's also just good karma and a little blessing. Please give me a blessing. It would mean the world. Also, if you are interested in receiving a tarot reading, you can get in contact with me. You can look in the description. You'll see my email, snappyddts@gmail.com. And you can also reach me on the Myth and Lore Discord. I'm open to chats. We're going to be having a roundtable discussion after this tarot reading at 9 o'clock tonight in the Myth and Lore Discord. Everyone is welcome to join. I'd love to see you there. Please bring your questions and I'll try to answer and help everyone who comes. It's going to be a lot of fun. Also, thank you for just listening to my spiel. It means a lot. I know that kind of stuff gets annoying. So let's continue. All right. Let us go to our up and downs. All right. We're going to start here with our truce. Yeah. So the key to this energy of this hangman is this energy of this community being in this true state, being in this open state, being accepting the new energy, being welcome and willing to help, right? And this is also kind of a sacrificial time for this community, this pleasure energy. This is that community growing the F up, taking responsibility, and it's a big upgrade for a lot here. This is energy of the truce, and energy of the hangman is active change, and it is being in that state of balance. And with that pleasure, it's beautiful to see. We just need to come through this sacrifice. All right. When we go down to the big middle here, again, we have our Venus, that goddess energy drawing down the star, wish fulfillment, right? That cup that's coming down. Beautiful, right? It's connected to this energy of the young man, that stubborn young man who thinks they know, who wants to build and wants to change and wants to go, right? Connected to them, and that disappointment, right? This frustration of dealing with it. But if you can overcome this, if we can fill these cups and help this energy, then that wish comes true, right? On the other side here, we have that queen and we have the knight. Wow. Polar opposite energies coming together in harmony. Isn't that magic of Athena? Isn't this Diana and Lucifer, right? The feminine and the masculine. Watery water, fiery fire. Coming together to bring about that new ion. Completing that image, that perfected unity, that cosmogonic eros, that phanies, that Ardhanari. Wow. Beautiful. Love to see that. Okay. We're now going to do our diagonals. So we go this way first. And again, right? We want this energy of that knight. You want that powerful energy, that transformative person who can go and really make an effective change. Well, they need that loving support. They need that community. They need it, right? And that's what's going to do it. That's what's going to make those dreams come true, right? It's this imbalance, community with this fiery energy. you know? And then what we see here, right? This birthing of the new aeon, that is that wish. This flipping of the poles, this coming of a new age, this changing, that is that feminine. And it's coming about through this sacrifice, right? This hangman moment, this growing up, taking responsibility. Always remember Odin, right? Hangs himself on the tree and cuts out his eye. You know, sacrifice for the sake of wisdom. And that is what you have to do. And it's about actively making a change, breaking habits, ending their cycles of repetition and doing something different, taking responsibility and beginning anew in a new way, a new cycle, greater than before. The sum of your parts, you know, both extremes brought together in a new unity. So you can see from both sides. Wow. Love it, love it, love it. That was such amazing energy. I hope you guys all enjoyed that fun tarot reading. So we'll just give another shout out here to everyone in the chat. So shout out to Graham, my brother, love to see you. Shout out to Valerie. Halifino, good to see you. Steve McQueen, I'm glad that you're back. All right, Kathy, good to see you. Casey Hunter, Isaac, amazing. Beatnik, I'm always happy to see you. All right. Love it, love it, love it. Great to see you guys all in the chat here. Thank you for coming out tonight. So we're now going to do one last sortace and we're going to call it an evening. So we're going to go back to our Beelzebub's tales to his grandsons. Some serious Russian, Greek, Armenian weirdo mysticism. But yeah, Gurdjieff is worth checking out, especially if you like weird music and weird dance. His sacred movements are so beautiful. I don't know. It's amazing concepts to me. I think he's probably onto a lot of stuff if he would, even though he was kind of a wild person, you know, like a lot of these people. All right. All right. What is this here? The flow of time. You have already existed by their time calculation. The flow of time. You have already existed by their time calculation. Wow. You have already existed. The flow of time. You are a snake along a path, an unfolding of an unfolding, a cycle of a cycle of a cycle of a cycle, but a moment in an ever unfolding flow of the river of time, Rhea, right? That oar, to row, beautiful, to flow, that unfolding. It's such a beautiful image, you know, and it's recognizing, right? You've been here before, you will come again. That is life. Nothing is created nor destroyed. This is but a moment, right? And we all need to stop and remember that at times. And I know it's so difficult and some people think it's a cop-out, but at the same time, you know, we can't. There's so much we can't change, but we can stop and recognize that this is a learning moment and it's but a moment. And every moment is different. And this is a beautiful one that we get to share. So thank you for being here with me for it. Appreciate that. So thank you so much, everyone. This was beautiful. Absolutely loved it. So if you are interested, I will be on the Discord in 20 minutes. You can come hang out and chat with me, ask your questions, and maybe I'll pull a few cards. So peace and love. Thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow with more tarot readings. If you'd like a tarot reading of your own, reach out to me through my email, snappydts@gmail.com. You can find it in the description below. Thanks again. Take care, everyone. Peace and love.